how is Tua responded to having been benched?
He's been fine. I think it's a little bit of adversity, and that's never hurt anyone. He's fine.
Stephen A., many have been praising Brian Flores of late, you being one of them. Was he wrong for benching Tua?
I personally think so. And that's not taking any praise away from him. He has a right to make the decision that he made, and it was just for one game, so I'm not overreacting to it. But to answer the question directly, I certainly feel he made the wrong decision. Let him go through it. He was going through it. He only completed 55% of his passes. What was the numbers here, Max? He completed 11 of 20 passes for about 83 yards. He was absolutely horrendous against that Denver defense, and we all know that. But nevertheless, it's one of those situations is that, again, it's about the marathon. It's not about the sprint. You elected to put him in the game, even though Ryan Fitzpatrick was rolling. So when you did that and you made that shift and you made that change, you made it because it was about the future. Well, guess what? This is a part of that. Why compromise that in any way? I'm not saying that it definitely will because we don't know, but why take that chance in my estimation? Let him go through it. Let him suffer. If you can throw him into the Lions den in his very first game against the Los Angeles Rams, and he only throws for 93 yards, and they win the game because Jared Goff stinks up the joint and commits 4 turnovers in the first half. Why weeks later, when obviously the game is still potentially winnable because it was close enough for you to come back from it, would you yank him? Let him go through what he went through, let him suffer the consequences, and let him try to work his way out of it because that would only facilitate additional growth. That's how I'm looking at that, and that's why I believe it was the wrong decision.
It was the right decision, and let me start by 2 things. One, does Flores get the benefit of the doubt? Because if another coach did this, maybe not to another player, maybe not. But does Flores deserve the benefit of the doubt? Brian Flores last year, this is the worst team we've ever seen. By the end of the season, they beat the Patriots in a game the Patriots had to have. Then they're having a nice little season, and they're getting better, and they're getting better. And he benches Fitzpatrick, who's playing very well, and puts in Tua against the Rams and Aaron Donald. And Tua takes the shot and bounces back up, throws a touchdown strike, and just manages the game. Doesn't try and do too much. And they win. And then when he needs a shootout, he needs to win a shootout with Kyler Murray, he does that. And they just keep winning, right? So far to me, Brian Flores has earned the benefit of the doubt, right? So now, let's look specifically at this situation. Brian Flores isn't just in it for the marathon, Stephen A. The marathon isn't just the rest of the Miami franchise. Brian Flores is trying to win the Super Bowl right now. Like, this Miami team has a real defense. And if they can do a few things, they got to get a little lucky, of course. But they can win the AFC East. They're, one game behind Buffalo? They can win the AFC East. That's what this man is trying to do. So they're at Denver. The offense is flat. They're not moving the chains. They have no life. And he thought, you know what? I got to give our offense life because we need to win this game. Had they won, they'd be in the tie in first place right now. He's trying to win now. So he puts in the quarterback he thinks, and by the way, it worked. The offense comes to life. They're driving down the field. Fitzpatrick turns the ball over. It is what it is. It didn't ultimately get them the win, but you could see why he did it. It had the effect he wanted to. Right away, the offense came to life. Now, the question then becomes, is he going to ruin Tua, right? Tua? That dude's constitution, he's going to be fine. This is the dude, Stephen A., and you've brought it up. At Alabama, he screws up, walks over to Nick Saban, a living legend, puts his arm around the coach to tell the coach everything's going to be all right. Tua is going to be just fine. I'm not worried about his confidence. Brian Flores is not only thinking long-term for this franchise, he is trying to win now. He's pressing the buttons he feels he needs to press, and he has earned the benefit of the doubt.
They got 2 games coming up, Max Kellerman. It's against the New York Jets and it's against the Cincinnati Bengals without Joe Burrow. They don't win those games. They don't deserve to be talked about as a playoff team, let alone a championship team. That's number 1. Number 2, taking that into consideration, let's understand something here. If you were thinking about now, why would you make the change to Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was rolling and is a veteran in the National Football League? Now, we can lament the fact that ultimately Fitz is going to be Fitz. Ultimately, the moment is going to come where he screws up because he looks lights out one week and then another game he just wets the bed. We can say stuff like that, but the bottom line is, considering that Tua is a rookie, coming off the nasty injury that he came off with at Alabama, combining that with the way Ryan Fitzpatrick was playing, combining that with what you just said about the defense. If it was really about now, you could actually have afforded to keep Ryan Fitzpatrick in the lineup for several weeks to come, if not the rest of the season, if you so wanted to. So what I'm saying to you is that if you made that move and it was about the future, then stick with it. Again, it's not an indictment against Brian Flores. I respectfully disagree with this one decision. He's obviously a fabulous coach with a great resume, and I think he's doing a hell of a job. He's the coach of the year as far as I'm concerned right now. But it doesn't negate the fact that with Tua, let him go through it. He still could have come back and won. They only lost by 7 in Denver. He could have come back and won that particular game, regardless of how awful he played.
The reason Brian Flores is probably the coach of the year, I'm with you there, is because he's doing a masterful job. It's not either or, now or future. He's doing a masterful job of balancing everything. He did pick a curious time on the surface to make the switch to Tua from Fitzpatrick. But I've said it before, Ryan Fitzpatrick is just good enough to be dangerous to your franchise. Because he can look lights out, Fitz magic, all this kind of stuff. But in the end, you know, you ain't going to win a Super Bowl with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Right? So when he started seeing, I think Coach saw, wait, we're actually really good. We might be able to do something here. And you want to develop the young quarterback so in year 2 he can take that jump on his rookie deal so you can try and win a Super Bowl on his rookie deal. That's a great window to try to do it. But I understand, but you have to develop him in year 1 so he can take the jump in year 2. But the point is, he thought it gave them a better chance to win now and later. And it worked. Stephen A., the proof is in the pudding. They were winning. They beat the Rams. They won 1-1. And then when he felt he needed to win that Broncos game, he pushed that button.
And I'm saying to you, listen to your very own point. It's not about just year 2. It's about now. So you're saying it's about now and year 2. You also use the word development, as in his development. A matter of fact, you also applauded the fact that he was put in against the Rams, because if you remember, my only reticence was about putting him in for the first time against Aaron Donald and Brockers and Leonard Floyd and those boys. I say he doesn't need that. The first thing they did was body slam to the turf. He got right back up. And Brian Flores was like, that's what we wanted. We want that adversity because that's the only way he's going to learn. Okay, well, if that's the case, then why pull him out? Leave him in there because of the very reason
they're also
Brian
trying
Flores
to just win the game.
Put him in there in the first place. I'm only going by what Brian Flores said. If this is what
he didn't have it. The offense didn't have it.
Right. No, I understand that. I'm not disagreeing.
Now you get greedy. Oh my God, we could be in first place.
No. Yeah. But again, that's a change in your thinking because you're talking about getting greedy. Yeah, we could be in first place. What I'm saying is, he said, listen, this guy, we got to put him